Hello friends, welcome back to 𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏𝒈. Today I have some interesting questions and we are going to find out answers for this. Can we pass piece of code to another function to execute it? Can we store a piece of code in a variable like we do with any other data type like string, integer, double, right? We store that into a variable. Int I is equal to 10 for example. So we store 10 in variable I, right? Similarly, can we write piece of code and store that into a variable? Sounds tricky, right? If you ask to any functional programming developer like Scala developer, they will say, yeah, it is possible with Scala. We write functions, we store the functions into variables and pass it across. That is very much possible with Scala. Java 8 developer says, yes, it is possible with Java too. Though it is a object-oriented programming language, it is possible to now store piece of code into a variable, pass it across, execute it whenever you want. So it is quite interesting, right? So Java 8 features Lambda expressions and functional interfaces enables us to literally pass piece of code across, literally save piece of code into a variable. They make it possible. So yes, today we are going to see most important Java 8 feature, which is nothing but Lambda expression and functional interfaces. Let's talk about a use case where I get string as input and I want to do some operation on the string. Let's say I want to do uppercase operation on a string, but it is a special operation because I'll check whether if it is a empty or null string, I'll return empty in uppercase as a output. Otherwise I'll return uppercase of given valid string. The way we will do it is by creating one class, create a method called as, let's say, to special uppercase, and create object of this class and call the method, right? So let's do it with Java 7 way and then we will go further. So I'm using IntelliJ IDEA. Let me create a new project. Let's call it as Lambda functional interface demo. I have JDK 19 on my system, but it is fine. You can use any version after Java 8 for this demo. Let me just add a class. So we are talking about doing special operation on string. So let's say org.codingwala_Shree.stringops is my package. In this package, I'm creating a new class demo, which is a client class. Will be having public static void main method, PSVM. As we discussed, we need to have this to special uppercase method and a string operation. So I'll create a special class for this purpose called as, let's say, string operation. By the way, I'll be pushing this code to Git and it will be given in description of this video so that you can always clone the code and work on it. So we are talking about creating a to special uppercase method. We will have string as input to this. Fine. In this case, what I want to do is return empty as a capitalized string, else we have a valid string and just return uppercase of the same string. So input dot to uppercase. Okay, to be in sync with their camel case convention, we will change our method name to uppercase. C is capitalized now. Fine. So basically we have a string operation class where we have a method to special uppercase. Now in demo class, what we need to do is we need to create object of a string operation and then call to, and we will just print this. So again a system.out.println. What I'll do is, let's say first input is empty string. Let's have some, we'll just copy the same statement. another input is null, and third input is some keys, let's say 𝒂𝒏𝒅𝒊𝒏𝒈. Okay, so let's try to run this. As expected, first two cases being empty and null, they have written empty as a output. Third one is a valid string, so it has capitalized it and returned. What's wrong with this code will be the next question. The thing is that in my project, just imagine that I don't need this two special uppercase behavior too often, right? I need it at one or two places and that's it. So for the same purpose, I had to create a class, I had to declare method inside it, and wherever I want to use it, I need to create object of this class and then call the method. So there is a boilerplate code I have written just to invoke a particular action, right? So if you think about this carefully, we are thinking in an object oriented way. We are thinking about things, nouns. So string operation is a class or object. So we are thinking in an object oriented way. We are not thinking about the action. The action is important to me than the other boilerplate code that we have written. So two special uppercase is the action which capitalizes the input string in a special way is important to me. So basically we need to perform this action only once or twice. So it is really unnecessary to create a separate class for this, as we are not reusing the same stuff again, right? We have the use case where we are reusing the class, then it makes sense to have a separate class for the same. But it is useless if you are not using it quite often. So is there a way to basically get rid of this overhead of creating separate type and then access methods of the same type? Yes, there is a way. Also, will not it be great if we need not provide whole implementation and just think about what action, two special uppercase in our case, and just think about that. So let's keep this code aside and just talk about few things here. So here comes lambda expressions. So let's just copy our method two special uppercase into our demo class and try to understand lambda expressions. Okay, so the way lambda expressions are written, we are just looking at how Java 8 compiler thinks about the same code. Okay, so basically Java 8 compiler provides a syntactical sugar, to optimize this code. It allows you to get rid of the unnecessary things which are present in this code. So if you are thinking about the client classes context, the public won't make any sense because we will be using this block of code in the main method itself. We will not be using it, so we don't need access modifier here. So you can get rid of this. Then Java 8 compiler already knows what is return type in the block of code, right? It can infer that return type of this function will be string. So I'm again getting rid of this. So what we left with is name of the function. Will it really matter to compiler? Because we are using the block of code only once, right? We are not accessing this block of code again and again. So what we need really is the block of code, and we don't need to know its name, right? So I can even get rid of this. Okay, so what left with us is nothing but the input and what it returns as an output. And Java 8 compiler asks us to provide hyphen and greater than symbol to show that it is a lambda expression. The code is giving compiler time error because it is not stored anywhere. As it is a statement, we have to give semicolon at the end. But this block of code we have written is syntactically correct, though the compiler is complaining about it. We will come to it later and we will sort it out. What it is complaining is you are not storing it anywhere, so it is not a statement. This is interesting because this is not a normal variable. So if you try to assign it to some string s equal to, so this will give a problem. What it says, target type of lambda conversion must be an interface. here comes the next concept of functional interfaces. So what is functional interface? Functional interface is an interface with only one abstract method in it. So I can even define my functional interface here. String op, and we will only have one abstract method. So to match the signature of this lambda expression or this function, what the function returns is string, and what kind of input it takes is a string. So let's say perform is a operation, and give any name. So this is an abstract method perform in this string op interface, and as we have talked about it, this is a functional interface because it has only one abstract method. So can we use this interface to store the lambda expression? Let's just see, and bingo, it worked. Because how compiler infers this is, it checks to the left hand side, it is a interface with single abstract method perform, which takes string as an input and returns a string, right? On the right hand side, it has lambda expression, right, which has the same, exactly same signature. It takes same data type, which is string, as an input, and it returns string as an output, right? So if I have left hand side and I already know that it returns string and it accepts string, do you think can we omit this as well? Yes, we can, because compiler can easily judge from this left hand side functional interface that this perform will always take string as an input, right? So yes, so it is optimized to this part of code. Now Java 8 compiler even allows you to do further optimize this thing, okay? So you can even get rid of opening and closing curly brace, because we simply have single parameter to the function. If you have multiple parameters, then you need to provide opening and curly brace and list of parameters. So pretty much simple, right? So we saw what is functional interface. Just to remind you, functional interface is an interface with single abstract method, and you can assign a lambda expression to the functional interface. The only condition is that lambda expression should have same signature as of your abstract method in functional interface. Okay, so the idea is it will always have single abstract method, and lambda expression is a single function. So you can in a way assign a function to functional interface objects. I hope this is clear to you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll suggest you to practice whatever we learned today so that concepts are clear to you, and that's how we learn coding, right? If you want to learn about some more Java 8 features like default methods and static methods, I have recently added that video to YouTube. So I'm giving links in the description. Please do check it out. So finally, keep learning and keep growing. Bye bye until we meet again. Thank you.